Live from Sin City, it's the Sox and Pinstripes Podcast. And now, here's the star of the show, Diet Dr. Griffin!
This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of the Sox and Pinstripes Podcast. Like, rate, and subscribe. Shane's with us today. How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing well today. How are you today, Griffin?
I'm playing hurt. I tweaked my back yesterday at the gym, so I'm just gonna do the best I can to get through this.
Good. I got demoralized by someone swimming at the gym today, so not hurt, but I feel your pain. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of pain, you were at the Oakland Coliseum last weekend, and it's got to be painful for those Oakland A's fans to see their team that has been there for decades to be leaving the city.
Oh man, it was, first of all, there's still time for anyone listening to go to a game at the Coliseum. 10 out of 10 stars, highly recommend. Oakland is a super cool city. Go there. But yeah, man, Sunday wasn't that bad. I went to the Sunday game versus the Dodgers. It was basically all Dodgers fans. And then a couple of us A's fans were there. But Monday was chanting "Sell the team" with a bunch of lifers, and it was pretty bad. So
go into a little more detail for some of us, because I've been to the Coliseum, but it's been probably close to a decade since I've been there. So a lot has probably changed since then.
Actually, Griffin, you'd be surprised. Probably none of it's changed.
Actually, you're probably right. They probably haven't.
They've been there since they've been there since 1968. It's concrete. It's in the middle of an industrial zone, so your view is just plants and factories and rubber, and kind of the bay out in the distance if you're up high enough. The stadium's actually, it looks a lot bigger, but it's pretty intimate when you get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So to put it in perspective, I tried to get you and Jeff souvenir cups because
we're both avid collectors. Jeff started tradition with me, and then I've kind of carried it on because I've been doing a lot more traveling to go to games.
Yeah. So I guess for those people who don't know, I'm trying to see all 30. I know that's on your list too, Griffin. Major League ballparks.
Yes.
So I'm glad I made it to the Coliseum before it closed. But so they were out of souvenir cups,
of course.
but they were advertising them everywhere. But they were out of them, which was great. And the thing that I'm doing too is every stadium that I go to, I'm buying a replica jersey because I can't afford an authentic one of my favorite player at the time. And so when you go to buy a jersey at the Oakland A's stadium, you actually buy a blank, and then for $25 more, you get the player's number and name screen printed onto your jersey, because the players changed so often that they were losing money buying actual jerseys. So now you just buy blanks and have the number screen printed on. You had to go to 2 different places to do it. I was just laughing the whole entire time. So,
my dad went to a Rays game back when David Ortiz was playing for the Red Sox, and I think it was his last year, and they ran out of food like middle of the game.
It's just crazy.
So, the souvenirs cup seems pretty mild compared to like running out of food in the middle of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. So, and then on Monday we got to sit. How do you feel about heckling at games, Griffin?
I'm not a heckler, but I'm a generally introverted person, so I pretty much just like to keep my mouth shut and kind of just enjoy stuff. I don't really like to be a Karen and talk all that much, which is odd because I'm podcasting now, but I pretty much just like to keep to myself and not really yell at people, because I don't know. I don't really care all that much, and I've gone to therapy and I've kind of worked a lot of that stuff out of my system.
Yeah, so my brother and I, it turns out I'm not a heckler either unless my brother's there or I've had more than 5 beers at a game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I
And
don't drink, so I'm not in that situation where I'm gonna get like risky.
yeah. So my brother and I, we on Monday we got to sit right behind the Oakland dugout, like literally one row back, and got to watch my cousin play. Shouted at him the whole game. JP Sears through an awesome game too. It was fun watching him. He's a lefty. I'm a lefty. Even though I've never, pitched in baseball.
Now we're starting to understand, why Jerry doesn't like his lefties, and you're taking offense to that because you're a lefty too.
But I mean, in my defense, there's only 2 of them on the whole entire Mariners pitching staff.
I'm just teasing, but now we know why you have lefty pride.
Yeah. Now you know why I take issue. So bats left, throws left. Shane Menold. But anyway, so we got to sit right behind the A's dugout on Monday. And towards the end of the game, my brother and I just started heckling every White Sox batter who came up. And one of the best ones was Lee pinch hit for he's the backup catcher to, I forget who the White Sox main catcher is, but he came in like the 7th or 8th inning and just was not seeing the slider at all, and was swinging way out into the other batter's box. And every single time he just swung and absolutely missed, my brother and I would go, "Nice swing, Lee. Keep it up, man. Get it next time." And then they had this guy, Sammy, I forget what his last name was, but every time he got up to bat, we would chant, "You're not Sammy," which is like Sammy Sosa. So, that was pretty great.
You know what's crazy is that I believe, were at the final game of the 21 game losing streak. If I'm not,
I was, yeah, and I'm sad that I couldn't have stayed Tuesday because I feel like my brother and I could have really helped out get to 22. So
yeah, I mean, the whole situation's funny because the A's were playing Taylor Swift's 22 before the game.
Yeah, they jinxed themselves, man.
Yeah, they jinxed themselves. But the whole White Sox situation's kind of bizarre because they fired their manager this past week and they hired, they promoted Grady Sizemore, the former MLB outfielder, to be the interim manager. But at this point, like, you've lost 17 games in a row. They have a big owners meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't make a change then. You lose 4 more games. And then you decide to fire the guy. At this point, you know he's not going to make it for the season. Like, why even bother making the change at this point? Just like go ride it out. You've already gone 17. Team's a dumpster fire. Nothing is going to happen either way. Like, just fire the guy in the offseason and hire another manager.
Yeah, like the Mariners are doing with Scott Service, because I mean, fingers crossed they make it, but it's not. I think they're just gonna middle out and be a game out again.
I'm not sure the Red Sox are gonna make it at this point.
At least you guys are only a game out of the wild card.
Yeah,
We're 4 games back.
They've been losing to the Astros quite a bit lately.
Yeah, well, that'll happen to the best of them. So
yeah, the Red Sox, they have major issues winning at home. They go great. They win 2 out of 3 in Kansas City, and then they have a losing record at home.
Yeah, it's so weird because you have some big left-handed batters, and you would think, just doinking it off the monster or pulling it to that short right field would result in a lot more offense than it does.
I think a lot of it is the fans have gotten so pissed off by what the ownership has done. They're just not going to games, and the other teams' fans are going to the games more.
Oh yeah, maybe that could be it.
I think that's a definite factor with them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stadiums, really quickly, in case our listeners haven't aren't up to date on the A's leaving. Um, the team rejected 3 sites, included the A's. It rejected 3 sites, including Howard Terminal. And what I found out was the main reason why the Howard Terminal got rejected is Schnitzer, which is a steel radius recycling plant, has had 3 blazes since 2018. I guess it's just been like bad, like covered the whole entire bay in black smoke. And apparently they refused to move, didn't want a baseball field next to them. And that's what the A's owner is blaming. That's who the A's owner is blaming for not wanting to move to like there was projected like a $12 billion build out for the Howard Terminal area. There's like a Jackson Square area downstairs. That promenade is absolutely gorgeous, but that's his main reason for not wanting to stay in Oakland, which is absolute bull crap.
Yes,
But I didn't know that. So yeah,
Snitzer is snitching on the A's.
absolutely.
I've heard rumblings that at some point, like Oakland's gonna get another MLB team once they do the next round. After they do the next round's expansions, they'll probably be considered for future expansions. Kind of like how the NBA is talking about going back to Seattle, even though the team was in Seattle for decades and then they moved to Oklahoma City. But
yeah, well, I mean,
Seattle and Vegas
the
are like
Mariner,
the top teams there.
yeah, and the mayor really wants. The mayor wanted to keep the Warriors. Mariner wanted to keep the Raiders. The mayor wanted to keep the Raiders, and he wanted to keep the A's. So he wants professional sports in Oakland, and everyone seems to want professional sports in Oakland. I guess it's just they don't make enough money for the teams. I mean, I don't really know. It's an awesome area. The BART is great. I think Seattle could learn a few lessons about the BART system and look at New York and other places that have the train system and really just install gates so that everyone has to pay the fare. None of this like willy-nilly. We only ask, people of color if they've paid their fare or not, or, whatever. You don't run into the racism of just having a gate and either paying or not paying. So I don't understand why Seattle doesn't do that. But
A lot of these stadium situations are now turning into like big real estate plays where they're building entertainment districts and hotels and housing areas, apartments and things. They're building all of these units around the stadium itself.
yeah,
Talking about the Mets are talking about building a new stadium at some point because like what's around around City Field right now is like a bunch of chop shops and
yeah.
they Cohen like wants a casino by all
Of course, Cohen wants the casino.
it's all of these other assets that like what they really really want. And the Rays, for example, they're building out a new area in St. Pete, which is like really hard for people to get to, but they're building this massive entertainment district.
Yeah.
And using that to try to get people to go there. When I was in Arlington, they had the new Globe Life Stadium or Globe Life Field. They like have a very similar name to the previous place.
Yeah, it was Globe Life Park, and now it's Globe Life Field. Yeah,
yeah. So they built a lot of new infrastructure around that stadium. I was there a couple years ago, and I imagine there's probably more now because I went like right after the pandemic.
Yeah, I think people are doing what they did in LA. I think LA kind of set the tone. Well, there's like that whole walkway. It's like called something or whatever for Staples Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's the new.
No, it's not Staples Center anymore. Is it still crypto.com arena, even though crypto?
I mean, everything's pay to play, and if you have enough money, just buy something and change the name. Yeah. I don't know. It's not Staples Center.
See that,
it'd be Staples Center forever. So
I know we were really planning on talking about this, but did you hear that Pitbull, the artist it bought the rights to a college of Stadium Florida International, I believe.
No, but I
For like,
cannot wait for what happens.
yeah, so like it's gonna be Pitbull, I think Pitbull Arena or something like that, Pitbull Stadium
Of course it is. So
for Florida International. He's paying like 1.2 billion, 1.2 million dollars a year for the naming rights.
perfect. Of course he is.
Well, while we're talking about stadiums, it was announced this week that the MLB is going to do a game next year at Bristol Speedway, which I have to ask Taylor, where is Bristol? Because I don't follow NASCAR. And she told me it was in Tennessee.
Yes, it is intense. I had to look that up myself. So the Braves are playing the Reds on August 2nd next year.
In Tennessee. And that stadium can hold up to like 150,000 people.
Well, apparently NASCAR
Insane.
is the most watched sport in America for reasons that I will never be able to explain. Because talk about, baseball's trying to make itself more interesting because everyone complains about it being boring. I don't know what's more boring than watching a car go in a circle 300 times, but
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. And it is Pitbull Stadium. It is Pitbull Stadium.
oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is Pitbull going to be there? Because that seems like
I'm sure he'll probably go there periodically. I don't think he's going to be there every single time.
Well, I guess it would. I guess since everyone complains about NASCAR and baseball being boring, I guess that kind of makes sense if you're Rob Manfred to just take fans who are willing to sit for 3 hours and watch a car go in a circle and be like, "Hey, look, you won't have to smell gasoline. You won't have to root for people to get hurt, and
Yeah.
you can watch some baseball." So.
Yeah, so they're gonna try to, I think, to get the highest amount of attendance for a regular season game with this particular game.
What is the highest attendance for a regular season game?
Well, I don't know what it is for a regular season game, but I can tell you that for when you look up the highest single game attendance, what like they always bring up is this exhibition game between the Red Sox and the Dodgers from 2008, where they filled 115,300 fans into the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum for a preseason game.
Oh, that was at the height of the rivalry, so that makes, or no, Dodgers. Never mind. I was thinking Yankees. But anyways, those teams were
Yeah.
really good, so that makes sense. Honestly.
Yeah, this was like this was off of the Red Sox had won the World Series in 2007.
Yeah.
So
Man, what a great World Series too. Wow, it's just so good.
Well, that was the series that the Red Sox swept the Rockies.
Oh, but didn't they play the Yankees to get there, and that was like the championship basically?
You're thinking 2004.
Okay, 2004. All right, yeah.
Yeah, 2007 was the second of the major championships. That was the year that the Rockies went on this insane run and they won like 22 out of 23 games. And then
they just couldn't keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah, they basically they swept their way through the playoffs and then just got swept in the World Series. They just ran out of steam right at the end, and it was very
wasn't that Big Poppy's last World Series or?
I feel like Poppy was on the team in 13, but I don't remember.
No, you're right. I think 13 was his last one. So
I feel like he retired like in 2014 or.
Dude, he's a great analyst. When he was like running around during the All-Star game and the home run derby, it was awesome. I love seeing that guy. I hope he's a part of baseball for a really long time to come. So
he and A-Rod are wonderful together. And
Poppy's
always playing tricks on Derek Jeter and stuff. He got him like a Red Sox hat jersey.
Yeah, and Jeter's like always so serious, and I think it just eggs him on to be even more extra than he would be normally. So
yeah. So
speaking of players, let's talk about the three Jacksons, man.
Yeah, I was just getting to that. So the three rookie Jacksons have been having a moment here. Most recently, Jackson Holiday came back from his first stint with the team, and has now hit like 5 homers in 10 games since coming back up. Looks like a
Yeah.
completely different player from the first 10 games that he had.
Which honestly, I'm so happy to see. I would have, it's nice to see them go back down and then come back and be successful. And it always like hurts my heart when you have a Jared Kelenic situation where they just like can't quite get it on the team that they're on, and you just hope that a change of scenery helps. But I'm super happy for Jackson Holiday. Glad he's super hot right now. He's gonna ruin my prediction that the Orioles won't make the playoffs, but that's okay. So I can deal with that.
Yeah, and he kind of credited playing the golf, one of those golf simulator games, to kind of help him getting his swing back on track.
Interesting. Did he play with a baseball bat or with a golf club?
Well, I mean, I think he's probably playing with a golf club, but
I
it
don't know.
kind of helped with his timing or something very similar in how they have to work on the approaches and everything.
Oh, that makes sense because a lot of those swing simulators and like my dad has a bunch of Medicus clubs and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about your wind up being controlled so that your swing is as in the sweet spot for as long as possible. And I
Yeah.
know that for myself, I'm always jerky on the take back, and that can be just as detrimental as anything else. So.
The youngest of the three Jacksons, Jackson Churio, has really had a solid season for the Brewers. They gave
Yeah, I
him,
was looking at his numbers. He's got a 2.5 WAR this year.
yeah, yeah, he's
That's awesome.
he really struggled out of the gate, but he has turned it on, and he was somebody that the Brewers gave $80 million to before the season started.
Yeah, and it looked like a mistake early on. I think
Yeah.
we've talked about how he was overpaid, but I mean he's earning it right now. So
Yeah,
he's got
and
14
that's
home runs,
the risk you
272.
run. The risk you run when you sign these players like pre playing their first year. Like the Diamondbacks did the same thing with Corbin Carroll last year. And
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll had a great rookie year, and he's kind of having a better second half this year, but his first half was really bad.
I mean, that's how I feel about Julio Rodriguez. I think they paid him way too early, but
Yeah, Julio's deal is even larger than Carroll's was.
yeah, I'm like, it's another mistake in a long list of just stupid mistakes of Mariners front of the house
I mean,
decisions. But
it's hard to say with some of the younger players though, because I mean
yeah,
the Royals signed Bobby Witt to
yeah,
massive
they're
deal,
gonna, and
and
I guess if they thought he was gonna be, and he still might be the second coming of Griffey Jr., and they signed Griffey like right out of the gate too. So
yeah, and we got to go back to the other Jackson Merrill, who has been clutch for the Diamondbacks, and honestly, probably the best of the three so far this year. He's
oh,
really
I'd absolutely
emerged
agree
as
with
the
that.
wild card, and he's been a big factor why the Padres just keep winning right now.
Yeah.
He hit 2 home runs yesterday, and just doing clutch stuff for that team.
He's almost batting 300. Not that like batting average really means that, but he's got a 3 WAR and 17 home runs this year. So
Yeah, and he's barely came out of Double A. The Padres really pushed him hard, and he's looking like a legit Rookie of the Year candidate.
yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
kind
I
of
would
crazy
honestly agree with you.
that's crazy when you got Paul Skeens out there, who is looking like a potential Cy Young candidate.
So if Paul Skeens wins the Cy Young, then like good for him. He just hasn't played a full season, and I just don't know if factoring with how many people like get injured are and have been injured this year. I just don't know if it's like going for half a year and being awesome is great, but I think there should also be the consideration to the people who have played the whole entire season.
Oh,
So
I mean, honestly, I think Chris Sale should be the NL Cy Young Award winner right now.
yeah, yeah, right now, yeah, absolutely,
Right now, I think he's the guy. He's
yeah.
been phenomenal all year. looks like he's never won the Cy Young Award either.
Oh, I mean, okay, that makes me want. And he's left-handed. Come on,
Yes,
come on,
yes.
Chris.
Go
Stay
lefties.
healthy, Chris. Stay healthy.
Oh, I have a vested interest in Chris Sale staying healthy because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah, yeah, man. My fantasy team's just middling the whole entire year. I hope I make the playoffs. I don't know if I'm going to go anywhere though, honestly. So
You know, I mean, Jeff thinks that my team is like the best team, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like it can just completely go on a dime. My pitching this week has been awful. Like every single move I make has completely backfired.
yeah.
And I literally
At
like,
least you're not winning. At least you're not losing 0-20 and having Jeff pointed out to everyone. So
well, you didn't lose 0-20, so
almost. I came close.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but I think all you gotta do is make the playoffs, and then
Anything can happen.
anything can happen at that point. Like guys get hurt, and guys just have bad weeks, or you just run into a random situation where your whole week gets screwed up because you don't want to start Clayton Kershaw, and then you grab another pitcher, and then he ends up getting murdered. So you start Clayton Kershaw, and Clayton Kershaw actually does okay and only gives up one run against the Phillies.
Yeah.
And then you start like grabbing other pitchers to try to offset the pitcher that got killed, and then every pitcher you grab just does progressively worse and worse and worse.
I love those weeks. Are awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So like right now, I'm up 11-9 in Jeff, and the only reason I'm winning is because like I have 9 out of the 10 offensive categories.
Nice. Yep. Offensive week. Let's go.
Yeah, and it can still flip on a dime because we're very close in other categories.
Yeah, I played Jeff the last week of the season. I'm just worried I'm gonna get absolutely crushed. So
I have Taylor the last week of the season, and she is having a good year. Although
yeah,
I
she's
have
having a
like
great. I
half
guess
the
she's
team.
never won the championship too. So good luck, Taylor. But
She was in second place the year that Cobb won the championship. The
oh,
attitude.
okay, yeah, rough Cobbs.
Yeah. So did you hear that Rich Hill is trying to get latched onto a team?
Yeah, let's go, Rich. What is he? 44, so he'd be
Yeah.
older than Justin Verlander.
Yeah, he'd be the oldest player in baseball. He apparently had some offers during the offseason, but he wanted to save his bullets for later on in the year.
Yeah, and do you think a lot of, so depending on what happens, if this works out for Rich Hill, I think it will open the door for a lot of older pitchers, the Justin Verlanders and the Clayton Kershaws. And I mean, Chris Sale looks great this year, but maybe, if he has a down year next year or whatever,
Well, I
to
mean,
just kind of wait till the All-Star break and then try to join a contending team and save yourself for only half a baseball season.
I'm pretty sure Chris Sale signed an extension though with the Braves,
I
but
mean, makes sense after the year he's having. I mean,
well, I
yeah.
think he signed it beforehand actually.
Oh, really? Oh, good for the Braves. That's working out for
Yeah,
him.
because I believe Chris Sale had a $20 million club option
Yeah.
after like on his original deal. He had that off the season.
Oh, okay.
And I think they just kind of agreed to give him a third year on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's worth 20 million. He's worth as much money as you want to pay. They actually had really good luck. So him and then the Reynaldo Lopez has had a revival this year as well. So,
Well, didn't Lopez get hurt this week though?
oh yeah, sorry, I haven't been paying attention that too much this week.
I'm
But that,
pretty sure the forearm issue came into play this week for Lopez.
oh yeah, so he might be done for the rest of the year, or they'll just rest him till September and hope that that is enough. So.
Yeah. I mean, the last major instance I've seen of like a pitcher coming in and signing during the kind of the middle of the year was when Roger Clemens did it with the Yankees.
Yeah, and he's won championships, a couple of All-Stars, and Rich Hill has done neither of that. Although he does seem to play better. Is it 13 postseasons, a 3 ERA, and his regular ERA is 5 something. So
Well, I mean, I think that, Rich Hill's one of those guys who's got nothing to really play for at this point besides trying to win a ring. He was on the 2018 Dodgers team that made it to the
Yeah.
World Series. I
Yeah.
was so disappointed I didn't get to see him pitch because I was at the 2018 World Series Game 3,
Oh,
and he was like
awesome.
one of the only pitchers that didn't play in that game.
Which is surprising, honestly. So,
Yeah,
but I guess
that
he
was
has
the
that
game to
big
win 18
curveball.
innings.
Yeah, I guess he has that big curveball, and they were banging trash cans or whatever. So,
Well, no, that wasn't the banging trash cans here. That
oh,
was
that was that the short year or whatever.
no. 2018 was when the Red Sox won the World Series.
Oh, okay,
2017 was the
okay,
Astros banging
yeah,
trash cans.
right. They just got legitimately beat that year. So,
Yeah, yeah. Even though like Cora was there and allegedly cheating, but not cheating to the same level. It's
yeah,
a
it's
very
all
weird situation there.
yeah,
So,
it's convoluted.
do you remember the moment though? Like they had Roger Clemens was in the press, like in George Steinbrenner's box, and Susan Waltman's like going crazy on the broadcast because he announces like in the middle of a game that Roger Clemens is coming back from the Yankees.
I don't remember that, but I can
Oh,
imagine
you
that.
gotta Google the clip because that's where you got the oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, that's okay. That's that. All right, I got
Yeah. Roger Clemens is coming back to the Yankees.
it. Awesome. Looking that up as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, that is one of the all-timer moments. Yeah, I mean, I legit think guys like Verlander and Scherzer. I mean, Scherzer is a guy like this year who's just keeps like battling arm fatigue, and he would be a guy I think would love to try to do this whole starting in the mid-season thing.
I think if Rich Hill doesn't get it this year, I think, Max Scherzer would be the person who would, start that. I mean, he could grab Justin Verlander and be like, "Yo, let's wait till the All Star break and see who wants us." So,
Yeah, I mean the only issue is that they're probably going to get just based on name recognition, probably just going to get full season contracts. Someone's just going
yeah.
to give them that money anyway.
Well,
Although
and they're going to do what the Astros did this year with Verlander, which is like anytime he gets hurt, 15-day IL, and then he doesn't play for a month and a half. So,
I think Verlander. I know Scherzer is a free agent. Not 100% sure that Verlander is. I think he has maybe one more year on his deal. He has
did they offer him a 2-year deal? I thought they only offered him a
I think
1-year
there's a
deal.
vesting option or something on. I'm looking it up now.
Okay, because they did. I mean, that makes sense because they did let go of him and then grab him back again, and then he helped them win a World Series. So
I'm
pitched the
looking
best in
on.
the
I'm looking on
postseason that he
spot.
ever pitched. So
I'm looking on Spotrac right now for Verlander, and it looks like he had an option for 2025, but I don't think he made the innings that he needed to make for it.
honestly, that checks out. He's been on my fantasy team the whole year, and I believe that. So
Yeah, I think he needed to hit a certain number of innings. Yeah, it says he had to hit 140 innings for 2024 in order for the option to vest for next year, which it did not. So
I don't even think he's made half that. So
I will Google that just to find out.
yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
bitter, but I don't even think he's
Oh,
made half. I don't even think he's made 70 innings this year.
that would be correct. He's only pitched 57 innings.
Yep, that sounds about right. Taking up one IL spot the whole year this year.
This
Justin
Mr.
Verlander.
Upton hasn't made half of the innings he needed to for his vesting options.
Oh man.
Well, anyway, that's all I got for the show. Is there any closing remarks you want to make?
Yes, Rich Hill has maybe one of the coolest nicknames in baseball, and it's called Dick Mountain.
Yes. And I don't know if you know this when he pitches, he grunts like a tennis player.
Awesome, even
So
better.
so when you Google him, you'll see him grunting when he's like throwing an 80-mile-an-hour fastball.
Great. Him and Robbie Ray should be on the same team. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, he grunts like the Williams sisters do when they hit the ball.
Yeah, perfect. Love it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. It was nice talking to you, and have a good one.
Bye bye now.